Hi, I'm here to walk you through how to sign up for Noodletools and use it to create your own works cited page for your research paper. The first thing you'll learn how to do is to sign up for an account on Noodletools. So after linking to it through our school library webpage, if you haven't registered before, click on this link where it says "Don't have an account, register." So I'm going to click that. And here you have to say, I am a student or library patron, enter your expected year of graduation, and your school email address. Try to pick a password that you can remember easily, and then create your account by clicking register. Once you've set that up, when you sign in, you should have a page that looks like this. So the first thing you will want to do is to create a project. You're going to do that by clicking the green New Project button in the upper right-hand corner. Give your project a name. You want to select MLA, and for the citation level, click Junior, and then click Submit, and you'll see your project appear in your list. Open your project by clicking on it, and this is where you're going to see your citations start to populate your page. Now I'm going to show you how to add citations from many of our GBN database sources, starting with ProQuest. Let's say I found the source on ProQuest and I'm ready to cite it. In the upper right corner, I'm going to click the Cite button. Make sure that it's selected as MLA. And down where it says Export, you want to select Export to Noodletools. So when you click that, continue. It will show me this screen where it shows me a preview of the citation, and then the selected project is the project I just created in Noodletools. I'm going to import. And then when I go back to Noodletools and refresh, my citation from ProQuest is there. The other database we have is ProQuest eBook Central. Let's say I found a great book chapter source from ProQuest eBooks, and I'm ready to cite. I'm going to go up to the top to click the Get Citation button. And here, it does not allow me to export, so I'm going to make sure the format is MLA, and I'm going to copy by clicking Command-C, copy the citation. And when I go to Noodletools, here I'm going to click the New Source button, and this is from a database, and it is original content in a database. Up at the top, it says Copy and Paste a Citation. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to paste by clicking Command-V the information that I just copied from ProQuest eBooks. Once I've done that, I'm going to click Save, and here I have my citation from ProQuest eBooks. The next one I'm going to show you is anything from an EBSCO database. So this one is from Explora. It could also be from Academic Search Premier or AP Source. Either way, once you've found your source up in this upper right corner, you're going to click the Cite button and click the option for Export Citation, Export to Noodletools. Again, checking to make sure it's an MLA style, and click Import. Now when I go back to Noodletools and I refresh, I should see my EBSCO citation for that database. The other database I want to show you how to cite is CQ researcher. So let's say I have found a CQ article on climate change, and I want to cite this in my research paper. I'm going to click the Cite button. Here I have to manually select MLA style. So make sure you do that. For this database, you do have to copy to the clipboard and then go to Noodletools. And I'm just going to click New Source. And this one is Database, Original Content and Database. Up in the right, I'm going to click on Copy and Paste a citation. And I'm going to paste my citation from CQ and click Save. Once that's done processing, it should automatically show up on my project page. I also want to show you how to cite SIRS database. So let's say I've found this article on SIRS and I want to cite it in my research paper. I'm going to click the Cite button, and it gives me, make sure it's an MLA, but it gives me the option to send the citation to Noodletools. So I'm going to select that option and import. So here I should see I have my CQ article as well as my SIRS article. Another one I wanted to show you how to cite is issues and controversies. So let's say I've found this article and I want to cite it in my research paper. I'm going to click on the Cite button. And this database is going to give me the option to export. But first, I need to make sure I select MLA manually. And then I'm going to export it to Noodletools. Click Import, and it's been added to my project page. The last database I want to show you how to cite is Gale eBooks. So I've found this Gale ebook on water rights, and I'm ready to cite it. Up at the top, I'm going to click the Cite button. It should default to MLA, and I'm going to export it to Noodletools. Again, I'm going to make sure that it's going to the right place and click Import and refresh. And I should have all of my citations for my databases on Noodletools. Now, the other types of sources that I wanted to show you how to cite are websites. So let's say I have a general website like this site, the Pew Research Center. These websites don't have a Cite button. So what I'm going to do is copy the URL. And when I go to Noodletools, I'm going to click Add New Source. I'm going to click Website and Web Page. The first thing I want to enter is that URL that I copied. The next thing it asks for is the date of publication. Now I can see on the Pew website that the date of publication is July 23rd, 2024. Sometimes that's a little harder to find, the date of publication. You can sometimes scroll to the bottom, and if you can find a last updated date, add that. You do not need to add the date of access. Contributors. If there is an author, which in this case, I have 3 authors. I'm just going to show you how to add 2. I'm going to add Brian Kennedy And I can add a contributor. The second author's name is Alec Tyson. I want to make sure I select his role as author. Okay, and then I could add as many contributors as I needed. Now, the web page or article title is whatever this particular article is called. So I'm going to copy and paste the specific article title. Here, the name of the website is Pew Research Center. So I'm going to enter that here. Now, the publisher of the site is also Pew Research Center. I don't need to enter that name twice. So I've entered all my information. I'm going to click Save. And here I have my Pew Research Center website added to the site. Next, I'm going to show you how to add a TED Talk. In short, you're going to add it to Noodletools by clicking New Source, Website, Web Page. It's still treated like a website, web page. So I have this TED Talk by Angela Duckworth. I'm going to copy the URL and paste it there. I'm going to add the date of publication, which is April 2023 or 2013. I don't have the day, so I will leave that blank. Now for a TED Talk, I'm going to pull down author, and I'm going to put the name of the speaker, Angela Duckworth. That just ensures that her name gets put in the correct place. And then the title is the title of her talk. So I will copy and paste that. Sometimes Noodletools reminds me that I need to capitalize the first letter of my major words. So I will do that now. And the name of the website is TED. I do not need to put TED as the publisher of the site because those two things are the same. And when I'm done, I click Save, and my TED Talk citation has been added. Now I'm going to show you how to add a podcast. I found this podcast on NPR's Fresh Air. I'm going to grab the URL by copying it. And in Noodletools, I will do a new source, website, web page. Even though it's a podcast, I'm going to do website, web page, copy and paste the URL. Now I can tell that the date of this is September 30th, 2024. So enter the date. And contributor, in this case, I have the journalist who produced the podcast is Tanya Mosley. So I'm going to select author, Tanya Mosley. And again, web page or article title will be the title of this particular podcast. So I'm going to copy and paste that in there. Noodletools wants me to capitalize the major letters, so I will do that. And then the name of the website is Fresh Air. That's basically the name of the podcast series. And then the publisher of the site, that's whatever news organization publishes it. I'm going to put that as NPR. Save. And here I have my citation for my podcast. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to cite an interview that's online. In this case, I found an interview between a journalist, Jeffrey Brown, and the author, Jessamine Ward, that was published on the PBS NewsHour's YouTube channel. So I'm going to copy the URL, In Noodletools, I'm going to click on the green button. And in this case, I'm going to do website. Now, in this case, it's an interview. So website interview, paste my URL, and the date of the publication. Sometimes I have to click to find out a little bit more, but it looks like it was January 31st, 2018. Now, interview participants. I'm going to say the interviewee, that's the person being interviewed, is Jessamine Ward. And then here I'm going to click the Add Contributor button because I have the interviewer is Jeffrey Brown. That's the journalist who interviewed Jessamine Ward. To get the title of the interview, I'm going to go back to whatever the title of the specific YouTube video is. Copy and paste that in there. And again, Noodletools is looking out for me. It wants me to capitalize the first letter of all of my major words. And the name of the website. Here I'm going to put the channel that I got this from, which is PBS NewsHour. The news show. And then the publisher of this site is YouTube. So once I've entered everything that I can, I'm going to save. And here you can see my citation of the interview with Jessamine Ward. Okay, next I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to cite books. Let's say I need to cite my YA book. And my YA book in this case is Exit Pursued by a Bear by E.K. Johnston. So I've just Googled it, and the Amazon page basically has all the information I need about my book. So what I'm going to do is in Noodletools, click the New Source button. Since it's a book, I'll click Print or in Hand, and I'm going to click Book. Now here, I'm going to pull down the menu for Role and select Author. The author of my book is E.K. Johnston. So I will put that in there. And then the title of the book is Exit Pursued by a Bear. Okay, now if I don't know the publisher, I'm going to double check that on Amazon. It tells me the publisher is Penguin Books. And it also tells me the date, which is 2017. Okay, and publication city is optional, but if I have that information, I can add it. Otherwise, I'm going to leave the rest of that information blank and click Save. So here you can see my citation for Exit Pursued by a Bear, the book that I read for my research paper. Now let's say I am doing a research paper on a short story. So my short story, let's say, is Sandra Cisneros' Woman Hollering Creek. And this is the version that I read. I know it came out of an anthology, but maybe I don't have that anthology in front of me. Basically, what you have to do is find the information about that anthology. Now, you could Google it and find the Amazon page. You can also use our GBN library catalog because all of the PDF copies are coming from GBN library books. So I'm going to type the title of my short story into the GBN library catalog and do a keyword search. And the first result is Sandra Cisneros' Woman Hollering Creek and Other Stories. So I can check the index, but I can see that this is where my short story came from. So this is basically the anthology that I need to cite. So to cite a short story out of an anthology, I'm going to click New Source, Print or in Hand. Here I'm going to do anthology or collection. Okay, here, since my short story collection has just one author, I'm just going to add Sandra Cisneros' name here. And the title of specific work, that's going to be the title of my short story, Woman Hollering Creek. Now, let's say I don't really know from my original PDF when that was published. Well, the catalog information or your Amazon page is going to tell you that. So here it says 1992 is when the book was published. Okay, now this is important. The pages of the work in the anthology on my short story, I'm going to use the original page numbers. So I can see it starts on page 150, and then the last page is 160. So I'll enter that in. Now, Sandra Cisneros wrote the whole book, so I don't need to add other contributors. Here I do need to add the title of the whole book or anthology, which in this case is Woman Hollering Creek and Other Stories. Okay, and then the publisher, I'm going to double check that. It is Random House, or sorry, it's Vintage Books. And it was published in 1992. I believe it was published in New York. So if I have that information, add it. If I don't, as long as there's not a red star next to it, it's optional. So I'm going to click Save. And here I have my short story. You can see the title of the story as well as the anthology that contains the story. All right, one final thing I'm going to show you how to cite is an anthology where there's a chapter with one author that's included in an anthology with many different authors. So for example, let's say I am browsing through this book, Beyond Appearance, which has a series of editors, but really the chapter that I most like is this one, Chapter 9, The Others in My Eye, by Lynn McKell Brown, Niobe Way, and Julia L. Duff. Okay, so to cite this type of source, I'm going to click New Source, Print or in Hand, and we're going to do Anthology Collection. Now we're going to look at the shorter piece first. So my chapter has 3 authors, Lynn McKell Brown, and I'm going to add contributor so that I get all my authors in there. Niobe Way, selecting author, and then there's one more author, and that author's name is Julia L. Duff. Okay, now the title of the specific work is going to be the title of that chapter. So I'm just going to put down The Others in My Eye. And then Adolescent Girls' Friendships. Okay, now the year this work was originally published. I should be able to find that in looking at the information in Beyond Appearance. Okay, if I can't find it, I can leave that part blank. Okay, so here I'm going to add the information about the anthology as a whole. Okay, so this particular chapter, The Others in My Eye, I know goes from page 205 to 224. Okay, now contributors to the anthology as a whole. I know this book has 3 editors, so I'm going to use the pull-down menu to select editors. And up at the top, I can see that the editors are Noreen Johnson. Okay, and then I could add contributors to add the other editors. Okay, but for the interest of time, I'm just going to show you how to complete this citation. So title of the anthology here, that's the title of the whole book. So we're going to do Beyond Appearance. Okay, and if there's information, let's say it was a volume or a certain edition, I want to add that. But here I'm going to focus on, okay, it looks like it's the first edition, so I can incorporate that information. Here I'm going to incorporate the fact that I have its publisher, the American Psychological Association. And it was published in 1999. Okay, and it was the first edition. Okay, and I'm going to click Save. And then it should show up as a chapter from an anthology where each chapter has a different author. Okay, so that is an overview on how to cite all of the different types of sources. If you have any other questions, please see a librarian. We're happy to help you. Let's say you're all done and your teacher has asked you to add an annotation to one of your sources. So let's say I'm going to add an annotation to this particular source, my food safety source. So what I'm going to do is click this select edit. So if ever you need to edit a citation, that's the way to do it. All this information at the top is good, but the annotation is basically where you've written something separately in a document where you've evaluated the source's quality. Okay, so I've written this annotation looking at the quality of the source and how useful it is to my project. So I'm going to copy it. And in the space on Noodletools where it says annotation, I'm going to paste it. Okay, and then when I click Save, you can see that Noodletools automatically adds the annotation to that particular source. So that's how you add an annotation. Now, when you're all done and you're ready to export or print your final work cited, up at the top of your project page, select the Export Print button, and you want to print export to Google Docs. You want to do all sources, click Submit. It'll take a minute to process. But what it will do is create a perfectly formatted works cited page where you can see it's alphabetized by the author's last name, or in sources without an author by the first word of the title. It is properly cited and formatted my annotation if you have to do an annotated bibliography. So this is a source where I have everything I need. If I needed to add my last name, I would double click up here and then my last name would be there. So I hope this has been helpful. Please see a librarian if you have any other questions, and good luck with your research.